And we're live.
And we're live. Yeah, we're live, Alvino, once again. Alvino and Tamara Marie on the scene. So, Alvino, how are you? How you
I'm
been?
doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I have been just working on my health, trying to manifest some wealth, and getting better with each passing day.
Well, that's good. I signed up for the gym yesterday and then still have my gym clothes on today. Went today. So it wasn't too bad. My legs a little shaky, feel like little jello from being on the machines, but other than that, it was good.
Nice, 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 nice. Um, I guess we'll just jump into it like real quick. We were talking off camera, and you were telling me you was snapping today. You was going in
Yeah,
on
I
these
was
podcasts.
snapping. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to snap for y'all. Trying to stop, trying to, what they say, stop being scared. Some people say do it afraid, but it's not doing afraid. It's just doing it, right? Get to it. Um, in the world of podcasts, we all have a message. In the world of living, we all have experienced something. There's people like, I didn't experience nothing. Yeah, you may not have had a horrible childhood or this crazy story, but there's something that you have learned that you can teach somebody else. And so that's what we're here to encourage you to do, is to get on your path, to get on your journey. So yes, Alvino, to answer your question, I've been snapping and I'm talking real fast because maybe I ate too many pecan pies today, just a little. And
Listen,
so
I'm in a key lime pie little little diet recently, so I don't blame you.
key lime pie era. Yeah. So one of the things that I was telling you about that I had did two podcasts. They will be released. Not yet. I'm doing the premiere. Woo! And the one is about spiritual contamination, and the other one is just about self discovery, people taking a journey. And I recognize that through this journey called life, I've always had those outliers, those individuals who told me I wasn't going to be anything, I wasn't going to amount to anything. You're weird, you're different, you're this, you're that, blah, blah, blah. And I used to respond to people like, sounds like a personal problem.
Hmm.
When people are like, why are you doing that? Oh, you're this or you're that. And I'm like, that's not my issue. That's not my problem. Stop projecting your insecurities on me. And I was always just quick, like, that's your insecurity, not mine. But if you would like to get to know me, we can have a conversation around what my insecurities are, because we all have them. And people like all my life, like, you're so arrogant, you're so stuck up. Maybe now, but not then. I wasn't stuck up. I wasn't arrogant. I was what, Alvino?
Self-actualized.
Say it again
Self-actualized.
for the people in the back.
Self-actualized.
Yes. Can you tell us what is that?
Being self-actualized, it is being someone who is in tune with their will and desire and is willing to put skin in the game that we call life, and actually go forward with it. Actually put the pedal to the metal and actually do something. You know, if I actually let me actually that's my definition. Let me Google self actualize. Self actualization. What is that? The psychology drive to fulfill one's highest potential and become the best version of oneself. A concept central to humanistic psychology, championed by Abraham Maslow. Oh, okay, cool. So it involves realizing innate capacities, leading to personal growth, autonomy, fulfillment, and a deep sense of purpose. And I recognize that you in spades, Tamara. Like you're one of few people that I've actually met that have this quality of self-actualization, and And yeah, that's why I gravitate towards you, and I want to continuously surround myself with more and more people and cultivate that quality within myself as well. So yeah, that's for the people in the back.
Right. So, in terms of self-actualization, what are some examples that you would say you have done?
hmm some examples that I have done. Uh, Anytime I've kind of went off the beaten path and I've had like a goal. So like even something as simple as uh, when I was a child, I wanted to become a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care what type of scientist I wanted to be. I just wanted to be a man of science. And I went out and I became that. I put energy, I had a vision, and I put energy towards that. I went to school. I went to not the most well trodden path to become a scientist. Went to a school, passed the test, went through training, and boom, that was a goal. That was something that I really wanted to do, and I accomplished it. Um, and it fulfilled of, I had a sense of purpose behind it. I had cultivated an identity around it. So that's a small example, but it was a meaningful example to me. Um, there was a time period where I wanted to um, be more of a I wanted to be an orator and also cultivate communities and host events and stuff like that. So I got into event planning and hosted parties and started bringing people together for different nightlife activities and stuff. That was a goal. Basically, if anytime you set a goal for yourself that's unique to you, it's not something that society has put on for you. It's something that comes from within and you are expressing it, um, expressing that. That is self-actualization. That is you becoming more of who you are. You becoming more of yourself. You know.
Yeah, you tapping in. I said on my last podcast about Prince, and there's that song that says, never, it says, I need to find it. It's like, do you want him? Do. Do you want me? Because I want you. Maybe it's baby, baby, but I want you. And the song, when you listen to it, he takes you through this rhythm and this string of emotions with the music and his voice fluctuation. Like, to listen to the song, it's simply genius. And I said, what space did Prince have to be in for him to create such a masterpiece that even in 2025, which came out, I think it came out in like, I think they said 1985 or something around that time. It was a long time ago. And that we're still listening to this classic masterpiece. Who did Prince have to become? Who was Prince already? And how did he continue to cultivate and shape that genius? Because his music has a way of bringing people together. I don't care what color you are, what sports team you're on. You play the Purple Rain, and everybody like, Purple Rain, and but he was so young. He was under 30 when he was creating these pieces and these masterpieces. And many people don't know that he went on to write for other people. I think when he died, they said he had 600 songs that were never released. Probably more. I would think more. Um, but to become that kind of genius. And I think in the terms of self-actualization, at one point in time, maybe we were all there. Like as children, as young people, you're just trying to find your way. You're kind of looking at your parents, but you're still trying to find your way. And um, artists self-actualize the best because a
hmm
lot of artists continue to paint for like personal fulfillment, even without financial reward.
hmm
People who are who love to volunteer or contribute to their communities, They want to improve the well-being of others. They're focusing on something larger than themselves, and they're not getting paid. Like those are examples from just everyday people.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't think of that being something grand, but it is, because the world needs these individual pockets of people who are constantly evolving or have evolved in a certain space that answers that I guess their life is an answer to a problem of some
Mm-hmm.
sort. And
Yes.
I say volunteer because people are like, that doesn't seem like nothing big. That is something
Mm-mm.
big.
It's something big. I was just watching a video talking about the rise and fall of civilizations. Not to get too macro, but they're saying the first stage of a civilization is the rise, and the civilization is open. Um, Open by meaning it is open to criticism. It is so like think of America in the 1950s. Shoot, even China in the 1950s. One's capitalist, one's democratic. Two
Hmm.
different systems, but they were both open, and they wanted criticism because they were on the uprise. He was like, okay, what's going on? What can we do better?
Right.
All this resources and opportunities of plenty. So there's less fear, and we want to make things better. So that's how civilizations are on the rise. And so those type of people, the volunteers, the artists, they're more encouraged to go out there and pave and take new paths and pave new ways.
Right.
As a civilization becomes kind of like stagnant or in a little bit of a decline,
Hmm.
it becomes bureaucratic. Everything is now about stability. You can question, but don't be questioning too much. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to keep things on an even level. So and those boxes start being set up. And if you don't fit inside these boxes, then you're going to be looked at, and you're going to be put down, and you're going to be shooed away.
Right.
And then when a civilization is in complete collapse, then you got
Right.
authoritarianism. You better not question not a dang thing,
That
um,
part.
and you're on the outs.
Hmm.
Um, Artists, self-actualized people, they are needed for every stage. Some more than others, but uh, I guess the point I'm trying to get across is that if just to go along with your point, you need these people to criticize themselves in order to create new paths. I think that's the point I was trying to make. I
That's
kind
hard. That's
of
hard, yo. That's
uh,
hard. Yes. And
hmm
so for me, I remember going off to the Art Institute, um, and nobody knew what I went to school for. Everybody thought it was either interior design, photography. Nobody knew it was graphic design because
hmm
my hands was always in something. And then my spiritual mentor would take me on jobs with her. So I would learn to do people's makeups, whether it was theater makeup, whether it was movie makeup. And then I started taking pictures for weddings. I was in the club taking pictures. I was making money in all kinds of areas of creating and being an artist. And I used to say, like, people are like, well, what is it that you do? And I'm like, I don't know. I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I never wanted people to put me in a box or a genre.
hmm
And uh, because at that time, I was still evolving. And at that time, I wanted to learn all aspects of design and how they intertwine with each other. Then I decided that one day, okay, then I'll pick a lane.
hmm
Because as an artist, your job is to create. And so I ain't want nobody to mess up my money either by saying she can only do this, because it was a lie.
hmm
And when I graduated from the Art Institute, I remember my mom saying, "What'd you go to school for again?" And I'm like, "Girl, I told you, I went to school for graphic design. Well, what is that? And I said, just think of the couch that you're sitting on. Someone had to think of that. Someone had to create that. It had to go on a program, draw it out, scan it through the computer, um, before they could even build it. And she said, huh? And I said, I said, well, think of like a billboard and advertising and marketing. And I said, I went to school for that. What? I said, girl, you don't care. You don't want to know. You don't want to know. Sorry, no, I'm kidding.
You don't want to know. You can't handle
You
the truth.
don't want to know. But yeah, so when you say that, now I can tell people that Tamara is the evolution of a civilization on the inside that I did not know was occurring because one of the things I talked about on the podcast was like when you're a kid and you haven't seen an aunt and uncle for so long, they're like, Vino. They talk to you like you still that little kid. You 6'5", 3". Like what in the world? I'm not that person. I have evolved. And people only know you as your physical being. People don't really ask you where do you work at. Sometimes they do, but they don't know the creative process that you had to go through to become who you are.
Exactly. They weren't with you in the gym. They weren't you shooting shots in the gym.
People used to say to me all the time, you so skinny. And I used to be like, and you so fat. Like, what's up?
Hmm
And they're like, I can't believe you said that to me. Good, good, good. And I said, I can't believe you said it to me because at the end of the day, you don't know if I'm in the bathroom. You don't know if I'm bulimic or anorexic. You know, I said, I'm not, but I could be.
I could be. I could be
Could
struggling
be.
right
I'm
now.
not, but
You
could
don't
be.
know.
But in reality is, why do you think that you get to dictate who I'm supposed to become and who I am? And so when you talk about the steps of a civilization and the ability to block, cut things out, to regulate and not regulate, to be able to grow. And it's because you grow like this, then you go up.
Hmm
Again, the self-actualization you see is like a triangle getting slimmer, slimmer. So getting a
hmm
little tight. So everybody who's down here with you, they ain't going to the top.
Dang, the fat gets cut off.
It gets trimmed back. And so you talk about the rise and the fall. Um, in terms of our society, where do you see, which I'm scared to ask, where do you see America sitting in the rise and the fall of civilization?
Well, we're definitely collapsing.
I gotta
So
get out of here. I just got my
it's
passport, so I gotta get out of here.
yeah. They said America West. It's funny. It's the Western society is in a collapse right now. So you kind of want to stay away from North America and stay away from Europe. Those are the places where it's going to be a little authoritative. So if you go there, they're going to try to put you in some boxes. So it's going to be interesting. It's surprisingly the place that we consider the third world is where you're probably going to see the most expansive artistic expressions
Yeah,
probably over the next decades, which is wild because we think of those places as collapsed societies that are authoritative and have heavy boxes. So it'll be very interesting. It'll be very interesting. Um, but yeah, I want to see because of this collapse out in our society in America. I want to see it push people to become more self-actualized
hmm,
because the box, when people are put in the boxes, some people go along with it, but most people are uncomfortable. And when you're forced into those positions, it forces you to make a decision with your life. Do
right,
you want to live by someone else's rules, by their regulations, by their artistic and creative expressions, or do you want to bust the seams and come into your own? And that seems to be the cycle of things.
right,
Um, I want to see more and more self-actualized people come into their own. Because right now, I see a lot of people hoping someone saves them. I see a lot of people hoping someone just magically comes along. Uh, I was
Our
talking to. Hmm. Go
facts of
ahead.
life are Democrats and are Republicans.
Yeah,
I'm for this
Democrats
one, I'm for that one. Stop being for this and that.
ain't come. They ain't gonna
Because
save you, B.
it's just a band-aid, it's just a shadow.
Yeah.
What are you doing for your neighborhood? What are you doing for your community? I remember during the pandemic, I was staying at my sister's house, and sister there junk everywhere. So I was like cleaning and purging, and I bought some flowers, and I painted the door. I painted the, and she was like, "What you do all that for? Nothing wrong with my place." And girl, there was. And I said, "It's. I didn't do it for you. Actually, I didn't do it for you. I don't care what you think. I
Hmm.
didn't do it for you. I did it for your community. I did
Hmm.
it for your neighbors because they needed it."
Hmm.
Because she done got the vision I got. I said they needed the push.
They
Next day
did.
I was coming outside and the lady across the street said, "Why did you do that?" Then she opens up her car, she pulling out all the plants. She said,
Uh
"Now,
huh.
now I gotta get my stuff together."
Now I gotta get mine together.
Then the
Now I
neighbor
can't let you
next to
show
her,
me up.
right? Then the neighbor next to her said, "What's up, T? I gotta get my stuff. I see you over there, girl. Doing a good job, you know." And it's about a vision that transcends beyond you. So you going outside, choosing a block and cleaning up the trash because you live in the ghetto. But you were the space that you're around, you ain't got to be ghetto. Y'all ain't got to be trifling. And
You
so
ain't.
you ain't got to be. And so in reality, those small actions compound interest opposed to waiting to be served.
Accumulate.
Society doesn't have to collapse if we learn to serve.
Hmm.
It's
And
and we
just.
are so arrogant.
Hmm.
But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I was snapping.
No, sorry, you was preaching. My bad. Uh, but nah, and it doesn't have to be no grand sweeping societal countrywide thing. It starts, like you said, in our small communities where where you can touch things, you
Right.
can feel the impact immediately, and I think that's where things are going to be pushed. You know, the this whole globalized world that we live in is it's cool, but right now I think we need to go outside and touch the grass of not only our yards but our neighbors' yards
Right.
and see take down some of these fences and see how we can interlock with one another. It is that time. It is that time, and that's a beautiful example with you and your neighbors. It's perfect. We need to make our communities interdependent, make each other, and we're not isolated islands when it comes to your house and your neighbor's house.
We're a community.
We are interwoven. We are a
Right.
community, and we need to start acting like it
We need to
instead of
start acting
cosplaying
like
as
it.
these islands.
Those people over there. I had a guy. I'm not sure if I told you. I was at the beach, and this older gentleman was like, "How?" And he patted my nephew on the head. "How old is he? I like children this age." I said, "Oh, okay." And he says, "People have always asked me, how long have you been friends with the colors?"
Not the
Dear sir,
colors.
what century are we in? "Because I love colors. I've always been friends with the colors." I told Leonard that. Leonard was like, "Wait, what?" And you know he in a little Italian, little hot fire. And he was just like, "Tamara, I've had black friends my whole life, and I've never referred to them as the colors."
The
What
colors.
century are we living in?
You put the in front of it. The colors.
The colors. The colors.
That's funny. Oh
Where are we
man.
at, ladies and gentlemen, that we still refer to each other as the blacks and the whites? And there are differences. Um, but to be held up on your political party, to be held up on the color of your skin, to be held up on the communities that you live in, to be held up on the status of how much one makes and things. Those things are all beautiful, right? Because they make us
Mm-hmm.
into a society, but it's the hatred, it's the lack of information, it's the hoarding, and all of the above that is making us look foolish to the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
When I leave America and I'm traveling, they say, "Girl, you from the United States." I said, "How'd you know?" How'd you know? So yeah, it's just it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting as we evolve as we evolve as human beings. They said that at one point in time, everybody had at least a middle school or high school education.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said most people are in society as a whole has a, I think, an elementary education. Like
Like a
if you test
second.
them and the words that they're saying, they said that we have become dumber and will increase in becoming stupider because we are trying to be outwardly seen, but nobody's working on their heart. Nobody's
Yeah.
working on the mind. Nobody's working on the soul. And it's scary because who gonna take care of me when I'm old?
A little young dummy.
Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus,
But
help us
nah,
all.
yeah, it's going to be rough. But yeah, it's there's a regression in our society. Because it wants people to feel safe whenever they're because of that criticism, that less there's there's not as many self-actualized people. People are willing to push the envelope to criticize anything. So there's a push in our society for no one to criticize anything, no one to push any envelopes, no one to correct what is wrong in order to feel safe. And that feeling of that incessant need for people to feel safe, it traps people in boxes and identities that do not serve them in the least bit.
How do we
And
get people to achieve self actualization?
the the purpose behind the I guess the answer to that will be, how do you get someone to recognize purpose, that their
Mm.
lives need purpose? And I think the answer to that is getting people to find meaning in little things. And
Right,
dang, the next question is like, okay, what does meaning even mean to most people? What is
right.
meaningful to most people? Um, and that's a very spiritual question. That is a very spiritual question.
Psychology Today says 4 science based tips to achieve self actualization. How to become more self actualized. Number one, cultivate openness to experiences. It
Yeah.
says we miss opportunities to learn and grow and experience things that could bring more meaning to our lives. That's why self actualization involves being open to alternative information and points of views.
Hmm.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah. It's like how literally trying to get someone to leave their box. That's why they encourage like traveling with children, getting them in new spaces as often as possible, so
Right.
you're not so locked into a set way of thinking.
I
And
and so that was one thing for me in terms of just the arts, in terms of my experiences. I didn't want to be so arrogant to think that I knew it all and that
yeah.
I knew what I was supposed to do. And so I allowed myself to be willing to be exposed to different experiences. And you saw that in what 2014 where I was just like I'm out here.
Yeah. She was dancing in the street with a tutu. I
Told
was like,
y'all.
she
Nobody
had
knows.
a pink, what was it, pink tutu? I went out with her downtown. I was like, she really wearing this? I thought we was about to go to like a play or something like that. And
Out
we
here.
just out here
None of
just
my business.
dancing.
None of my
Oh,
business.
I was like, yeah, we just literally just out here vibing and
Out here
dancing.
vibing, minding my business.
Uh-huh. And people just start forming little dance circles around her, joining in. I was like, was this an event? Did we do something like this?
I told my dad about the time that you guys came to Winchester, and after my open mic, we went down to the walking mall, you, I, and Sierra, and we just start rapping. And my back was turned, and me not knowing that a whole crowd had formed behind us. But
Yeah,
other musicians in the walking mall came down to join us. And the guy started playing. Did he have like a trumpet or something? There was a violin. There
yeah,
was a, and we was getting, but just freestyling, da 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 da, and dancing. And when I look, I was like, "What in the world? I need to be capitalizing off this experience. Where's my jar? Where's my jar, ladies and gentlemen? So I can get my coins up.
where's my jar at?
Where's
And
my
the thing,
jar?"
and the thing is that like I've been I've been thinking about like I'm so tired of money being this is a side note, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired of money being the motivator, monetization being the motivator. I just want to have enough money, enough coins tucked away, so I can do things, do projects, create and cultivate experiences like that without that even being like on my mind.
Right.
Like how much money. I want to be able to just do
But I
things.
think that's how it starts. You cultivate these experiences, like they
Hmm.
said, like the artist. Every artist eventually sells art,
Yeah.
but initially they don't sell art because they're not creating art for people.
Hmm.
They're creating out of their
Necessity.
existence as a human being. They're tapping in. Like our brains work differently, our heart set is differently.
Hmm.
And there's lots of people like, I'm not an artist. I'm like, nah, I beg the difference. And so eventually somebody sees it, right? A family member, a cousin, a friend, a nosy neighbor, like, what you doing? And it takes off into a world of its own. And people
Hmm.
be like, yo, I'll pay you for that.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so when you're locked in on something, eventually it gets out. And people are like, "Whoa, what's that?" And you, the artist, think it's nothing. You
Hmm.
think that what you're creating, I've been doing it since I was a child. You sitting on a moneymaker.
You was sitting on it.
You sitting on the money, yeah. And parents be like, he's just, he been doing it. He just cute. Nah, man. His college can be paid off. Like, let's talk about it.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, I think it can happen. I think it can happen. It's just creating so
Hmm.
much that you like, let me have this yard sale. And at
Hmm.
this yard sale, and at this yard sale, you don't know who's in the neighborhood.
Hmm.
You don't know who's walking through.
Yeah, because just having that happen just sporadically, we just showed up and just started. We just was embracing the moment, and it
Embracing
was
the
like,
moment.
and that was just us. Some knuckleheads from Pittsburgh.
Right.
We're
Chilling.
like, what if that happened like I don't know in your city like 4 times a day,
I was going to call you a couple weeks ago. I was like, man, we need a jam session like right now.
right?
We need to. I was like, I'm about to call some of my hiking buddies. Like, yo, trying to go to Highland Park and just get it lit,
Mm-hmm.
just for
Mm-hmm.
us. Just like you just need that release to get it lit.
Exactly.
So
Just
whenever
get it.
you ready, whenever you ready, got your back. I'm down.
I'm down. I'm down for it. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. It's funny. I just saw. I've been getting these YouTube recommendations for like people that are having like these little DJ sets. So
Hmm.
like people just coming out, like setting up on their front porch or their back porch, and inviting some friends over and just playing music. And sometimes they be freestyling or singing together. I was like, oh, this is what we did. This
Right.
is us.
This is us. Exactly.
This is us.
The only
Just
difference is somebody filmed theirs. Nobody filmed mine. I don't think
exactly.
so.
No, there's no evidence of ours. Yeah, no, exactly. That's what we need to do, man. I need. Oh, what's a meme I saw recently? It said, "Bring back listening rooms," and
Yeah.
everyone needs to have a listening room in their place. I
I
was like, yeah.
so I so want to create music. I'm not Prince, but I so want to create electric sounds that
Hmm.
have a master synergy. I
Yes.
don't, you guys were there. So, one of the things at the open mic, because we didn't have a lot of people who performed and signed up, I end up getting all the artists who didn't know each other up. I gave
Hmm.
them a cue, like give me a little, you on the drum, give me a little bit of this. You
Yeah,
want the
yeah,
bass? Give me a
yeah.
little bit of it. Get a little bit work with me, and then you over here give me and then it was like one of the best moments that not all but the majority of them had.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
they came back every week, same people that it got bigger and bigger and bigger.
And that's how
But
it
yeah,
starts, man.
that's how it
Yeah.
starts. We need to bring back that shadow lounge. Who misses the shadow lounge?
I missed the shout outs, but man, it ain't gonna be the shout out. It's gonna be something different. But that vibe, that
We need to
cultivation,
bring back synergy open mic.
yo, synergy open mic, man. Set up a DJ booth, set up a couch in the corner, couple of chairs. That's all you need.
That's all you need. Slam dunk. Get start off at a pizza shop. That's how what they do down the
Yo,
street. He do
yep,
trivia. He got a DJ. Just something real simple like, hey, can we put a box in a mic and let people do what they want to do?
exactly.
You want
Just
to bring
vibe.
your instrument? Bring your instrument. You want to bring additional mic and a speaker? You bring additional mic and a speaker. My
Exactly.
job is to give you an opportunity to perform.
Hmm. And it's not gonna be no one showing up at first, and that's where we're gonna have the most fun. That's what,
Exactly.
we're just gonna be in there.
That's what these are for. So you can be like, bop, bop,
Hmm.
load it up on the
We
gram and be like, y'all missed out.
exactly. I missed
Period.
out. We
Oh,
was out
yeah.
here vibing. We was out
Y'all
here
missed
chilling.
out. Period.
Hmm. And so actually, I think I think I know a space that people already go to that will be open to something like that. Culture Kitchen,
You told me about that, yeah.
they'll be open to it. They'll be
So
open
that's
to it.
that's number four on one of the four things of self-actualization is living authentically.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because each of us desires to achieve a different goal. So people be
Hmm.
like me, I dyed my hair, ooh, and
Hey.
people got dreads, and then people got the weaves and the wigs, and people got the buzz cuts and stuff. Like people are tattoos on the face and on the arm. People are always outwardly trying to figure out how can I display another part of me or my personality.
Hmm.
And sadly, to the point that people will mutilize themselves. I guess that's the word, right?
Mutilate.
Mutilate,
Mutilate. Yeah.
mutilate themselves to be rebellious to the world and say, "This is who I am."
Hmm.
Self
It's.
hatred is not who you are. Self
Mm-mm.
love is who you are. And I believe that people can live authentically and love themselves and love what they're doing and share their gifts and their talents with other people.
Hmm. It's it is. I was talking to a friend recently, and we were actually talking about that. You say speaking on the mutilization. Uh, the the nephew, I believe, of Sigmund Freud.
Hmm.
He was a plastic surgeon,
Wow.
and he he ended up creating um, like being like the grandfather of modern day marketing or something like that. But he started out as a plastic surgeon, I believe. Don't quote me, guys. Don't quote me. But he started out as a plastic surgeon, and what happened was that he recognized he would change people's nose, do change their face, do all this stuff for people to change their outward appearance, but their identity didn't change on the inside. Their
Right.
psychology never changed with it. And so you have to create a new identity. Whatever's going on the outside, on your external, you have to cultivate a new identity to go along with it. And that's the hard part, and that's the thing that people don't know how to do. If you're going to if you're going to do all these things, and that's why people are going to stay on the table, stay mutilating themselves because they don't know how to change their inner world.
Right. If they don't, I think that one of the points here for self-actualization, it says move beyond love and esteem needs. It says when we think of self-actualization, many of us actually are thinking of esteem needs. Maybe we strive for love and belonging or for career success. There is nothing at all wrong with that. In fact, according to Maslow, we need to satisfy those needs before moving on to self actualization. Once we feel like we are loved and respected, it may be easier to shift our focus to personal growth and selfless pursuits.
Mm-hmm.
I think is I think yeah, but I think sometimes you'll have people got their dream job and their dream career and they're like, I'm empty.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I empty? Because you pursued the dreams of somebody else
Yeah.
and you didn't want to look stupid. You didn't want to, who wants to dance in the street? And I remember being downtown. There was a Snarky Puppy concert in Talaba. Shameless plug. So Talaba was there with one of her boyfriends, and she's like, "Hey, Tamara, hey," and I was like, "Girl, I came here by myself. I want to be alone." Mind you, there's thousands of people downtown, but I still, in my mind, wanted to be alone, and I was alone.
Mm-hmm.
And Snarky Puppy was on stage, and Sean Jones walks up and gets on stage with Snarky Puppy, and I was like losing my mind, like, oh my gosh, Snarky Puppy, Sean Jones, swear. And so I remember closing my eyes, and I was listening to, even though Snarky Puppy was playing on stage, NDRE was playing in my mind, and the song that was playing was "Just Do You." So it says, just do you, somebody gotta be a star. Just do you today. And I'm like, word, you're right. And I was like, what do I want to do in this moment? Didn't think about my job, my career, strangers, the people, what people was going to think. What do I want to do in this moment? In that moment, I just wanted to dance. So I'm getting it, busting it, bow, bow, bow. And then this guy comes up to me and he says, you're not from here. A black girl dancing in the middle of the streets of Pittsburgh, you're not from here. And I said, yeah, I am. And he high-fived me and said, keep it up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm like, he's messing up my rhythm. So I moved somewhere else and I'm on the side of the stage and I was like, I was about to leave and I was like, no, I think I still want to dance. So I started dancing again. So another man comes up to me like, I'm from Chi-Town, Chicago, da 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 da. You're not from Pittsburgh. I'm like, I am. He was like, don't no black girl in the city of Pittsburgh just dancing and trolling around for no reason. And this guy was like trying to take my picture and stuff. And I was just like, it's so interesting. But I just remember I had such a great night and I had such a bad week. But that night and that moment, I had nobody well, I ended up getting high fives, right? For just doing what I wanted, for living my authentic self. I finally got a high five. If my family was with me, they'd be looking at me like, girl, what you doing? If my friend was with me, they were like, you're so funny, Tamira. You're so funny. I'm out here doing me. And I created a moment that was special for me. Nobody else. I wasn't doing it to be seen. I wasn't doing it for the cameraman. I was doing it for me. And so I didn't need the high five. I didn't need the celebration because I was doing something that I love. And many people will have careers, they will have the success and still be empty because there was something that they were supposed to do, or there's something that they want to do, but they're too afraid of judgment. They're too afraid of failure. They're too afraid, what are they going to say about me? And I think that and it's one of the things that I've been practicing for years, silencing the noise. Because like I said, I always hear people say, Tamara, you're nothing. You'll never amount to nothing. You'll never be nothing. And I mean, for years, it just come from all over, da, da, da. And in my imaginary, I'm like, block, block,
Mm-hmm.
block. Don't bring that mess over here. Because at the end of the day, I recognize that we're
Mm-hmm.
all struggling with our identity. There's some of us that will take chances, but as long as you're on this planet, there will be something that scares you. There will be something that pulls you and says, don't go, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it God's voice, the voice of the divine, or is
Mm-hmm.
it the voice of your scared neighbor, your scared parent, the little boy or the little girl who made fun of you on the courtyard?
Mm-hmm.
And it allowed me to reflect, I guess, even on my own values. What are my values, right? That's part
Mm-hmm.
of self-actualization. What is the thing I care about? I remember going to church. I was a guy, I was like holy roller for like 7 years, just out here. And the stuff that I would hear from Christians and non-Christians, I didn't date at that time. I didn't have no boyfriend. I wasn't having no sex. She don't drink. What is she, mother made? What? And so I just remember, like, the Bible says, do these things, act accordingly. So I'm just trying to line it up. It was the people who were called, that I call myself a Christian, they call themselves a Christian, who were criticizing me and ridiculing me for lining up with this word. So their value system ain't my value system.
Mm-hmm.
And that was okay, but I had to separate myself from those voices.
Mm-hmm.
So in self actualization, it is a lonely place at times.
It's the most lonely. It's the most lonely. Uh, Friedrich Nietzsche has this idea of the Ubermensch, um, someone that's so self-actualized that the person can create their own values, because we all have values, and the values come from somewhere: our culture, our parents, our experiences. Even a person so self-actualized, they can create new values independent of even their experiences, which is like, I can't even like conceptualize that, but like, so that's like the umpteenth degree, but it is the most loneliest path, and you will have pushback from people that believe that your values should align with theirs.
Right,
And shoot, and rocks rub against each other, sparks fly. You know what I'm
right.
saying? That's the way the world should be.
So to be honest, I guess since I got back from my beach trip,
Hmm.
I feel so lonely. And I'm like, and I know you over there, you by yourself. And I'm like, I'm always alone, but I feel lonely. And I don't know if I feel lonely like people don't get it, or maybe I'm trying to get the wrong people to get it, and it's draining. Trying to get the wrong people to see who are blind
Hmm.
on purpose sometimes. It's too much for them. Um, Maybe I'm lonely because I be having all the men pursue me, but they're not dressed to take their position.
Hmm.
They're nice people, but they're not dressed to deal with somebody who's gone through the process of, like you said, self actualization. Because the person who I'm out in the street ain't who I'm at home. At home, I am a thinker. I'm pondering my thoughts and trying to understand the systems of the world and wondering, do they get it? Not get me, but do they get it?
Do they understand? Do they not just understand? Do they overstand?
Do they, does it stimulate their minds to recognize that there is a crisis here in the United States and they need their passport because we got to be up out of here?
Gotta go.
Do they understand? And then, I've been feeling sick. I know you haven't been well. I've been very tired. I don't understand why. And because I'm in this sickness, and it feels like the last 2 years, it's a lonely place. Because when I say I'm tired, it's not go take a nap. It's like, what's that? What is it? Is it what's the term? When a person just falls asleep anywhere?
Like narcolepsy,
I think so.
a malaise.
I don't know. But I'd be tired. I'd be like, man down. I'd be like, man down situation over here. And it's a
Mm,
lonely place because I feel so sick some days. I
yeah.
look well. Some days I don't. I look well, but it's a lonely place. And in the place, I'm like, am I dying? Well, it's not for me to determine. So I gotta just keep pressing, even though I don't feel well, even though I'm tired. Um, I was in traffic today and I was like, I don't know if if my body's fighting something or if I'm going through menopause. I was in traffic and it's happening right now where my body gets so hot, but I'm not sweating.
Hmm.
And the heat affects my brain. And I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, I know I should do something. I'm in the turning lane. I should be turning, but I'm only getting hotter. Oh my gosh.
Hey
what,
yo.
what is happening?
Hey yo.
And I'm just like, and you tell people that possibly are going through menopause or premenopause, how old are you? You're too young. People always got something to say, man. Shut up. Um,
Tamara, I think because everything you're describing, because I'm lonely, but I'm kind of I have a lot of things to look forward to, so that kind
right,
of keeps my spirits up.
right.
Um, I think what your experience is severe burnout. I think it's severe, and I know that's an overused word.
This is
Uh,
why I'm trying to get out of Pittsburgh because I'm just not out of Pittsburgh, even just the United States. Maybe
mhm.
down south where it's a little bit slower.
It's it's funny because a friend of mine, she's dating this guy that is he's an immigrant. He don't have no papers. Um,
Why is she dating a guy with no papers?
he's a hard worker. He's a nice guy,
He's a hard worker,
and he don't speak no English.
so he can't talk back. Hey, you can't talk back.
But they still have arguments. I'm like, how you gotta have an argument? One speaks Spanish, one speaks English. It's hilarious. The dude um, and his brother are here. They're experiencing burnout for the first time. They
Wow,
are, and they're experiencing, and they said the brother is depressed. Like he just has no energy. He doesn't want to get out of bed.
this
I
is
was
me
like,
someday.
this is America. This is America, and it is a trap. It is America has so much going on, but spiritually, it will.
It will take you out. Mm.
I feel fucking great. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna.
I almost quit my job like so many times this week. Like I don't even need the money. I need to
Listen,
figure out. And so this is why I'm like, all right, let me at least try to get out here and try to sell something. I heard a lady say, y'all better figure out how to sell something. I'm about to sell these clothes. I said, all you got to do is just create your income in a short period of time. And
uh,
if you can do it once, you do it again because I'm
Tamara,
tired. I'm tired
Tamara,
of my family. I'm tired of these children on the job. I am tired. And
just
people
get
don't
one.
get it.
They don't. Oh, I think people get it. They're just in it too.
they're in it, right? Yeah, I
They
think,
in it too.
and so I told people like I'm ready to take the journey. I really am. I'm like I love my family. I love this is a picture from when I was in Italy,
Nice.
and I don't know if that's the place to go back to, but
Hmm.
I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm ready for change and good
Hmm.
change. I'm
Oh
ready
yeah.
to make a difference. I'm ready to bring value. And that's another thing is burnt out because when you're trying and trying, you're doing and doing, and you feel like you don't bring anything,
Hmm.
you bring no value, you see no change. Um, it's exhausting,
It is. It is. It feels like it just feels like everything's in vain,
right?
and that's not a way to live.
It's not a way to live for sure.
But Tamara, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen very very soon. And you're on the right. You're doing the right thing. You're waiting till you have a way to keep have income coming in. You're setting things up for yourself. But once I tell you, when you quit that job, spiritually you're gonna feel
Like the weight has lifted.
the weight has lifted, and the days just feel fuller. Like I
Yeah.
don't. It's weird. It's a weird thing to describe. My relationship with time and money has changed. I've been
Mm,
unemployed for almost a year now, and my perspective has changed immensely. And I really want to. I really need to. I need to figure out this whole money thing, because once that's figured out, then the game's gonna really change. Because you're not tied down by anything. And what do you do when you're not tied down by anything? And your time is your own, and the money isn't the thing to really worry about. Like that's figured out.
right.
Um, what's left is what do you actually do with your labor? What do
Right.
you do with your hands, with your mind? What
You know
what
I'm gonna do something.
what you going to do with it? And that's the
Right.
self act and that frees up the self actualization. That
Right.
frees all that up. Your basic needs are taken care of, and hopefully your emotional needs are taken care of, by your community, your friends, all that other good stuff. Now you actually have your hands free
Right.
to work for yourself and your own stuff, and that's where the beauty comes in. That's where you're not gonna feel tired. You're gonna be waking up with a little pep in your step.
That part. I need it. I'm just like when I was down in Atlanta at the podcast summit, man, like the energy. I was like,
Hmm.
yo, when the last time I even felt this way?
Yeah.
And I have fun with my nieces and my nephews. We're running around. I'm like, I'd rather do this than be looking at these crazy people all day.
Right.
And but yeah, it's coming. I don't have much. And, during the family vacation, I was just so burnt out, even being around my sisters. And it's not their fault, but I smacked Shiri in the face, screamed at Monica,
Dang.
and pushed Olivia to her mom, like, girl, go over there. All this crying. I'm like, wow, I can't even deal with a 3-year-old crying. And
Uh-uh.
so just tired of it all. And I don't want people's dysfunctions to become my dysfunction. And I think naturally, um, I see myself going through these cycles and patterns of taking on other people's dysfunction, which can interrupt your ability to self actualize
Hmm.
because their projection now has become your wardrobe. Now you're
Yes.
wearing that thing, and you got to be careful. Um, and I think Taliba sent me something about, it's okay to go back and save yourself, right? We
Hmm.
have to save ourselves because nobody's coming to rescue us.
Yeah.
Everybody's reading all the self help books and things like that and not moving forward. Nobody's moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes we got to cut off what has contaminated us,
Mm-hmm.
what is drowning us, whether it be toxic parents, toxic siblings, toxic neighbors, maybe a whole United States
Mm-hmm.
ain't for you, and it's time to get on the plane and voyage to a new frontier.
Mm-hmm. I think the thing that's insidious, because we think about these external things, parents, country, bullies, and stuff from childhood.
Hmm.
Sometimes, and those contaminants, it be us sometimes. Like I remember a friend of mine. She always says, like, anytime I bring up anything regarding numbers, she's like, "Oh, I'm not good at math. I don't do that math stuff." And I was like, "Dang, we just talking about like coordinates on a map or something like that. I forget what it was. It was like something simple. I don't do that math stuff." And that just had me think. She always brings that up anytime a number is brought up. It was like, and
I don't
the
do that.
number two was mentioned, and she's like, "I don't do that math stuff." She's like,
Mm.
I've been good at that since I was a kid." And it had me thinking. I was like, she had some bad experience with math when she was a kid, and that idea has locked in and cemented itself, and it's been there for 40 years.
Yeah,
And that happens to all of us.
a
There are
lot.
there are people that right when the times we was out dancing and stuff like that, running around using a tutu, and there was a whole bunch of people that was like, "Well, come on, dance with me," and they're like, "I don't do that dancing stuff." They had a bad experience dancing, probably when they were 6. Who knows what happened?
Somebody like my family used to be big. Like, you can't dance. You got two front feet. You got two left feet, Tamara. You can't
Yeah.
dance.
Or maybe they tripped and fell, and someone laughed, or they just
Right,
felt embarrassed, and
right,
then boom, an idea is set, and it's been set for 20 some odd years. This
right.
idea that they have of themselves: I'm not a dancer, I'm not good at math, I'm not this, and that contamination,
Mm-hmm.
unchecked, unquestioned, it's just a part of your identity,
Right,
will go on,
right.
and we have to be able to purge that stuff.
Until you learn to silence the noise and purge it. Yep.
Yes. Tamara, my computer is about to die,
Word.
and I do not know where my and I do not know where my charger is at this moment.
All right, then I guess, wrap up self-actualization, and you think of something else, we can hop on at another time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any closing thoughts, my friend?
Um, no, give us your closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts is, no matter what ideas you have of yourself, of your past, of who you are right now, just know that it's all moldable, it's all changeable, it is all fluid. Who you are is fluid. It is not static. And if there are ideas that you have about yourself in the world that are not serving you, it can be changed. It can be changed, and please go through the necessary steps to question it and to change it for yourself. This world is for the taking. It really is. I believe so. I believe this world's for the taking. This world can be filled with love or hate if you so choose. It all depends on how you frame it. You get to choose your frame of how you see this world. And if you want it to be as you've seen it thus far, the world will reflect back at you.
Amen. Amen. It's all about the reflection. As
The
long as
world
you're
is
happy with who you see in the mirror.
exactly.
This journey is between you and God, ladies and gentlemen.
It is.
Not people. People are a part of the journey, but this discussion is between you and God. I hope that you'll take some time out to reflect and self-actualize and do some research, so that you can continue to evolve and become who you need to be for your community, for your family, and for yourself. So that when it's time for the big gipper to call you home, you can leave this planet with a smile on your face, knowing that you've done all that you desired and wanted to do. May you all be great. May you all continue to shine. We love you guys and have a great evening. Ta ta.
God's GPS. Peace.